Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back. I thought I would share with you the progress that I have made so far on my Frida Kahlo journal, and also share with you something that I am doing for the inside of the covers. So first, let me share with you what I have done so far in terms of the book itself. I did decide to go with this cover, which I'm glad I did. I think it's perfect for the papers. I have 3 signatures. I did cut the papers down to size. I have not embellished these signatures as of yet. I'll do a flip through of one signature because all 3 are pretty much the same in terms of layout. So this is what I have so far. This actually flips out like that. I love this blue. The blue also has a flip out, but I think I'm going to put the flip to the back side. That way I don't have a flip back to back. That makes more sense to me. Isn't that beautiful? Here's the green. Some coffee dyed paper. Beautiful pink doily. I had this translucent Yupo paper. I wanted to add some of that in there. That's really different. And that's the center. Boy, I am like fumble fingers right now. It's beautiful. Love that. Yeah, the flip makes more sense here now. That's really pretty. And then that's the back. So that is the general layout for each of the signatures. 2 of the signatures have this as the center page, and one of them has an envelope in the center. I always need an envelope at the center of at least one of my signatures because I need a spot to store ephemera. Now, in terms of the cover itself, the red is pretty, okay, and I can leave it like that, but I don't want to leave it like that. I have this beautiful fabric that I shared in my curating my Frida Kahlo journal. This fabric is all beautiful images of Frida Kahlo, and I cut it into 3 pieces. This one piece right here is actually going to be used to cover the spine. Once I know the width of the spine, I'm going to have plenty of fabric here to cover the width of the spine and wrap around into the inside. So that's what this piece is for. Then I had these other pieces, smaller, left over like this. And they are absolutely gorgeous. And I was trying to figure out how I can incorporate these images into the journal. At first, I thought a fabric flip, but I really don't want to do a fabric flip with these. I want something a little more permanent, something a little more, to spotlight the beauty of this fabric. And what I thought was I can use it to cover the inside of the book. And I thought the best way to do that would be to use it to create a panel. So here's one I did. This is what I mean when I say panel. I took a piece of cardstock that I measured to fit the inside of the cover. I then wrapped the fabric around that piece of cardstock and then stitched around the panel itself to create this. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And then I added a brad. That's a brad to the center of her hairpiece. I just happen to have this most perfect brad. And it's part of that vintage brad set that I shared in that same video where I curate this journal. The brad was absolutely perfect. So I put it on her little head wrap or band. And I absolutely love the way it turned out. And what I am going to do is glue it to the inside cover of the book. So when you open the book, you have this beautiful fabric panel. So I think that's the best way to use this fabric. I already did one. I have to do another for the inside of the back cover. So I thought I would film the process in case maybe this is something you might be interested in doing yourself. So the first thing I did was cut some cardstock down to size. I actually used chipboard. You don't need to use chipboard. You can use some heavyweight cardstock, but I just wanted something sturdy. So I had chipboard. So I cut the chipboard to fit the cover. Both covers are the same size, so my panels are going to be the same size. Once I had the chipboard, all I had to do was cut the fabric panel down to size so that I can wrap it around the chipboard and glue it down. But here's a little tip or something you should be aware of. The backing makes a big difference with the fabric. If I use this color chipboard, it's not white, it's like this cardboard color chipboard, and I put the fabric over that, it kind of dulls the image a little bit, and you'll see, hopefully you'll see the difference when I add a piece of white cardstock on top of that darker colored chipboard and then wrap the fabric around it. You see how much brighter that looks? There it is with the white underneath it, and then there it is without it. I don't know if the difference is translating well on the camera, but I'm telling you there's a difference. So anytime you're using fabric or you're wrapping fabric around anything, be mindful of your background, what's behind it. Because if you have something dark behind it, it's going to dull your fabric or the tones of your fabric. Okay, if you have something white or lighter behind it, it'll brighten it. So I just wanted to put that out there. So I have my chipboard. I also have a piece of white cardstock. I am going to glue the white cardstock onto the chipboard. I'm only going to put glue on the center. I want to avoid putting glue around the edges because I do intend to sew around the edges, and I don't want that glue to mess up my machine or my needle. So I'm just putting some glue in the center there. And yes, I will be using my sewing machine in this video, which is why I have this different setup for my camera. Usually I have my setup where the camera is above me, but because I'm using my sewing machine, I have the camera set up to the left of me. Okay. to wrap this around. I'm not going to put any glue on the front of the fabric, on the front of the panel, just in case this glue stains the fabric. I wasn't sure how this glue was going to react with this fabric, and I didn't want any stains on the front, so I just made sure that the panel was cut long enough where I could wrap it to the back and just glue it there. And the back doesn't have to look pretty because it's going to be glued down. No one's going to see it. So all I have to do is just make sure that she's straight front. I'm going to use my fabric tack glue. I need to cut the fabric down just a little bit around the edges. That first one was my prototype, and I cut the fabric a little too, I didn't cut it. I didn't leave enough fabric for me to really wrap it around. You can see, look at that tiny bit amount there I had to wrap around. So that was a struggle. I'm going to try not to do that this time. You learn, you learn. You do it once, you learn how to do it better the next time. So I'm just going to hold that down just a few seconds there. This glue gets everywhere. So I did do some slide mounts. I created some slide mounts. Well, I didn't create the slide mounts, but I turned the slide mounts into some beautiful embellishments for my journal, and I shared that process. 2 videos have been posted on that process, so if you haven't seen them, be sure to check them out. I will put some cards up in that general area there. While this is drying, let me share with you what those look like, just in case you have not seen that video. So I took some vintage slide mounts, and first thing I did was I used my Dina Wakley gloss sprays to color them, these deep, rich colors. And then in the second video, I showed how I used some Lawn Fawn gold heat embossing powder and heat embossed a rose background stamp on top of the slide mount. And look how beautiful those turned out. So I am super excited about those. It was fun to make them. It really was. All right, let's get the bottom. So this sewing machine you see on my desk is a brand spanking new sewing machine that I bought back in November, and I'm only now getting around to using it. I had a sewing machine, also a Singer sewing machine before this one, and I had that machine for, wow, since before Ella was born. So Ella's about to be 12, so I had it for over 12 years. I've had it for a long, long time, and she finally just quit on me. The machine, she was old. I mean, very old. I had her since way before my daughter. So I thought it was time I got a new one, and I did. It's just a shame that it took me this long to use it, but that's okay. This new one is awesome. It has all of these fancy stitches that my other one did not have. So, learning curve there. I'm going to have to learn all these fancy functions on this sewing machine. And I just keep looking at the front, making sure that the image hasn't moved. It's not lopsided and somewhat straight. She's somewhat straight. That works. She's not perfectly straight, but then again, neither am I. Okay. I'm really enjoying working on this journal. I think once I do these panels, I will finish putting together the embellishments using the slide mounts. I think I want to back those slide mounts not only with images of Frida Kahlo, but also maybe some lace or other fabric or materials. I don't know. I have to give that some thought, so I'll probably work on that some more once I'm done with these panels. So there is the panel. I have some red, more like a burgundy-ish type color thread loaded onto the machine. I have a question. I don't know where I heard this. I don't know if it's true. It might have been my mother-in-law who told me this. I'm not sure. But I have a lot of thread in my stash. And some of it I actually got from my mother-in-law. Now, the thread I got from my mother-in-law is older. I mean, she has some spools of thread that I have no doubt are 10 plus years old. And I don't know if it was her or someone else who mentioned to me that you shouldn't use older thread because somehow the integrity of the thread is not the same because of its age. So is that true? If anyone knows, I would appreciate you letting me know down below. Educate me. Is that true? Is older thread no longer good thread? Or should you avoid using older thread? Because I have lots of thread, spools of thread that's older. And I didn't think anything of it. Now that I have my sewing machine back out, all of a sudden I started thinking about the thread in my stash and whether I should no longer use the older one. So I don't know. Might explain why my thread snaps sometimes, but I don't know. I don't know. So I pushed my machine into the frame here, and I am going to attempt, whoa, to do some sewing on camera. hopefully all will go well. I guess we'll find out together, right? I have it set to a lower sewing speed because I am going to sew through cardstock and chipboard. It's a lightweight chipboard, and I know the machine can do it because guess what? It already did. You see that? It already did, and it didn't seem to struggle. I seem to struggle more than the needle did because I'm adjusting to a new sewing machine, but let's see what happens. So I have my thread in. I don't know how much of this you're going to actually see. Let me see. I don't know, but we will try, my friends. I will work on this sewing angle. But for now, this is what's going to have to do. So I'm about to start sewing. Pray for me. Move it down a little bit because I just want to frame. I think that's good. We're going to go nice and slow. Correct setting. I know. I wasn't kidding when I said I'm going nice and slow. And actually, I love this needle function. My other machine didn't have this. When the needle button or the needle position button is pressed, anytime you stop the sewing machine, it will automatically stop with the needle in the down position. Love that. Never had that before. And I want the needle to be in the down position because I'm going to pivot at the end here to continue stitching. That is cool. So I'm going to just turn. Turn again. And then this will be our final turn. And I did not backstitch when I started because I am going to attempt to pull the threads out or pull them through the back side so I don't have a messy look on the front. So that went relatively well. What this one doesn't have that my other machine did have was a little, had like a little cutting blade on the side here that I can easily, so that I can easily cut my thread when I'm done. But that's okay. I'll get used to that. So what I'm going to do, and I won't do it on camera because sometimes it takes me a while, is that you see this hanging thread here? I will pull it out through the back, both of the top and the, well, obviously the bottom thread is already at the back, but the top thread or stitch, I'm going to try to pull out through the back. I'll double knot it, and that closes that off. And I won't have like any bulky mess there, back stitching to keep this from unraveling. So let me turn this off. Let me move her back. This is what we have. The question is, do I have anything that I can use. I could, you know, I could take this blue. Kind of matches her necklace, doesn't it? What if we take the blue? I'm gonna try it. Why not? I'm gonna take this blue and kind of put it here, this brad, so that it kind of looks like a jewel hanging from the necklace. Because why not? So I'm going to use my pokey tool. General idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Do I though? Or do I want, wait a minute. Okay, take that back. What I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do that. Instead, you see this gold earring that's hanging from her ear? I have this beautiful brad, and I am going to replace that earring with this brad. Just do it, right? Commit. Commit. Let me use my pokey tool. Yeah, I think I prefer this then. Have to make that hole just a tad bit bigger. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, I will show you what that looks like. I think that was the better way to go. That makes more sense with her aesthetic. What do we think about that? Isn't that pretty? And how gorgeous would that look on the inside of the back cover? So my covers on the inside, I'm not going to glue them down. I would first have to create the spine, wrap the spine in fabric, and then I would glue these. But this is what they will look like. What do you think? I love it. I so love this fabric that I really wanted to find a way to incorporate it and somehow make it a focal point, or at least a spotlight. Highlight or spotlight? Who knows? Who cares? Point is, I did it. And I love the way it turned out. Love that. So that is going to be my share for this video, my friends. I think what I'm going to do is as soon as I stop this camera, I'm going to work on pulling that thread out to the back, and then continue working on the slide mount embellishments. And definitely be sure to check out those videos. If you are new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. If you are subscribed, then be sure to activate that notification bell so anytime I post a new video, you will be notified. And if you enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate a thumbs up. Really does go a long, long way to helping me with my channel. If you have any questions, then be sure to leave them down below. Or you can email me at happilyellaafter@gmail.com, and that is spelled the exact same way as my YouTube channel. Thank you so, so much for watching, my friends. I truly do appreciate it. And I will catch you all in the next video. Until next time, bye-bye.